Hello everyone, I'm Babla Jonathan and this is the 6 p.m. primetime newscast over Equinoxe television. We're coming to you from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, dwelling our top stories across the Republic of Cameroon. Dilapidated roads are slowing trade, increasing transport costs and stifling local economic growth in the Bombari subdivision in the littoral region of Cameroon. Residents of Bikoko, Babinga and Boatibo are urging the government to rehabilitate the only route linking their communities. And political observers and commentators in Cameroon continue raising concerns about the absence of change in the country's governance mechanism, the absence of a new government since the October 12, 2025 presidential election, and the government still heading the nation or managing public affairs in Cameroon is the government of Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte that came to power in 2019, and civil society leaders are raising concerns about this. You will hear some of them in this edition of the news. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast over Equinoxe television. Residents of Bikoko, Babinga and Boatibo in the Bombari subdivision in the littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon are renewing calls for the government to construct the only road linking their communities. They say years of neglect have left the strategic stretch in a deplorable state, making travel difficult and slowing economic activities. For me, Armstrong Sander takes us there.
The stretch of road linking Boatibo to Bikoko in the Bombari subdivision of the littoral region has for over the years become a real ordeal to users. Long abandoned, the old Douala Tiku road, once a vital artery for the region, is today nothing but a shadow of its former self. The asphalt has given way to bare earth. This is the daily reality for local populations. Every day, women, men, traders and children use this deteriorated road at great risk of their safety, except when the rain comes, the road turns into an impassable quagmire. Aware of how important this road stretch is to their daily lives and their future, the inhabitants of the villages of Boatibo, Nkapa and Babinga have taken action. Men and women armed with picks, shovels and cutlasses take turns on the ground, giving their time and energy to try and restore some dignity to this forgotten road stretch. The Boatibo Traditional Council has also gotten involved, making available the resources it has. With machines, it is working to level the most critical sections of the road in the hopes of making movement easier.
On a formé un comité de développement qui est en train de faire ce travail. Moi en tête, comme le chef du village, qui les encourage.
As commendable as the efforts are, they cannot replace a complete rehabilitation, the people say. The local population is therefore making a solemn appeal to the government to fully grasp the urgency of the situation and launch large-scale works so that this road can once again become an engine of development for all these localities in the Bombari subdivision.
Cameroon remains heavily dependent on imported rice despite its vast potential for local production. In the far north region of the country, climate change, dwindling harvest and inadequate irrigation have driven up the price of locally grown maga rice, prompting fresh efforts to restore irrigation infrastructure and boost production. Immaculate Fogwe tells us more.
Rice is the most widely consumed staple food in Cameroon, yet the country remains heavily dependent on imports despite having vast agricultural potential to boost local production. In the far north region, particularly in Maga, locally produced rice is becoming increasingly expensive, making it less accessible to many households. A 25 kilogram of rice that was once sold for 6,500 francs now costs 9,000 francs. Ironically, many consumers acknowledge that maga rice is of better quality than imported varieties. Farmers say the decline in production is driven by a combination of challenges such as climate change that has brought recurring drought and devastating floods, and poor management of irrigation infrastructure has further reduced yields. If irrigation systems are fully restored and water reaches the rice fields, production costs will fall, making maga rice more affordable and competitive with imported rice. To revive the sector, the rehabilitation of the maga rice irrigation scheme is underway under the Viva Logon project financed by the World Bank. Government officials recently visited the site to assess the progress of work. According to this project official, physical implementation has reached 54%, while financial execution stands at approximately 51%. While welcoming the progress made so far, representatives of rice farmers say major challenges remain. This rice farmer points to the need to complete the rehabilitation of primary and secondary irrigation canals, which are essential for ensuring reliable water supply to the rice fields. As rehabilitation works continue, farmers remain hopeful that renewed investment in irrigation and rice production will strengthen Cameroon's food security and reduce the country's dependence on imported rice.
Guidance counselors play a crucial role in helping students make informed academic and career choices. As the digital revolution reshapes the world of work, their role is becoming even more crucial or critical in preparing young people for the jobs of tomorrow. And the guardians, counselors, and other education authorities met today here in the country's economic capital, Douala, to discuss issues linked to the career choices, the education choices that the students are expected to make. Innocent as has more.
Choosing the right academic and career path remains a major challenge for many students in Cameroon. Limited awareness of emerging professions and inadequate guidance often leave young people making life-changing decisions with little information. It is against this backdrop that education stakeholders from across the Littoral region gathered in Douala on Tuesday, July 7, to assess the effectiveness of guidance and counseling services in secondary schools.
Guidance and counselors have done a lot. We can see it with what the students have said during their intervention, because they are the beneficiaries of what the guidance are doing all along the year.
Beyond academic orientation, discussions focused on the informational and the psychosocial support provided to learners. With the rapid expansion of the digital economy reshaping the job market, officials insist that guidance and counseling must evolve.
Their contribution must be better valued, communicated more effectively, and integrated into the oral dynamic of our schools.
Counselors are being urged to embrace digital realities and steer students towards the careers of the future, equipping them with the knowledge and skills needed to remain competitive.
The recommendations, resolutions, and strategies that will be formulated at the end of this work must be realistic, relevant, and guide towards measurable results in order to make it a performance tool.
The meeting ended with a renewed commitment to strengthen guidance services in schools, ensuring that every learner receives timely orientation to make informed academic and career choices in an increasingly digital world.
And I told you in the headlines that concerns are growing over the absence of change in Cameroon's governance mechanism, the absence of a new government after the October 12, 2025 presidential election. And this is being attributed to what is now qualified as the frail state of the president of the republic, who is, according to some analysts, unable to take the necessary actions to move the nation forward. Some are even saying that he is held hostage by a group of individuals. Now take a listen to this extract of what Dr. Barrister Kamwa Limen told me in last Sunday's edition of The Inside on the issue.
Cameroonians are waiting for a new government. Why not a new president, of course? Mr. Babila, only people who are not honest, only people who don't see the truth will be surprised by what is happening. What do you expect a frailing president to do? Nature is working on him. It is natural that at his age, he is tired. It is natural. And whose fault, therefore, is it? It is us. Because when you give mandate to a president who is frail, who is tired, who by virtue of his age cannot do certain things, you cannot expect the contrary. You cannot expect the contrary. So we should not be surprised that things are unfolding this way. We shouldn't be surprised. Because when you go and give mandate, you go and vote somebody you know is frail. Look, it's not a secret to anybody. It is not a secret. The president is frail. Even if you look at pictures in ceremonies where he is, they avoid showing full pictures. The president, it is natural. It is very natural, Mr. Babila, that at his age, there are things that he cannot do. At his age, is he thinking about his dizziness? Is he thinking about the drugs he has to take? Is he thinking about the... You see, let me tell you, to be honest with you, if I was the president, I would have decided to go on rest. So you don't carry the burden of administering a country which is dying. Because the country is dead.
There's some analysts who think that he's kind of trapped and held hostage by a group of persons. And
we are saying the same thing. If you are weak, they hold you hostage. You cannot hold hostage. You cannot hold somebody who is powerful, who is strong. You cannot hold somebody who is powerful and strong hostage. So as simple as that, any judge, any officer who sanctions a Cameroonian for saying that the president is weak, he is frail, he is old, is a dishonest person. So if a case should come in front of a judge that they say that it is contempt because you said the president is frail, the president is ill, the president is this, and then they judge you, they sentence you, that judge is not correct. That judge is not honest. It is natural. People see him every day. We see the president is absent. And when the president is absent, we have those various camps. You have people who think that their camp should go this way. They have people who think that they are the successors. You have many people who are vying for the post. You see? And so it creates that disorder. And that disorder which is manifested in our streets as you see the garbages everywhere. I tell people that the garbage we see on the street is a reflection of the kind of government we have. Yes, because if you cannot gather, if you cannot clean the streets, to clean the street, if you cannot clean the street, what administration, what government do we have? So there are those little things. See, the points are so many. You look at the youth, every day in villages, mothers are coming out, condemning the fact that youths have become drug addicts. Youths are now taking the drugs. They don't want to. Why? Because the system has failed. Mr. Babila, has failed.
No, the blame on Cameroonians may not be received by many Cameroonians who think that they did not vote the current president, who still hold the opinion that they voted someone else, and their voices, their votes were stolen.
Mr. Babila, if somebody beats you and you don't cry, it means you're complicit.
Right, that was Dr. Barrister Kamwa Limen speaking there. Now, out of Cameroon, Ghana has turned down a state visit request from South African President Cyril Ramaphosa as tensions rise over a wave of xenophobic violence that has targeted Ghanaian nationals living in South Africa. And diplomatic sources in Accra and Pretoria told Daily Graphic that the decision comes amid a sharp escalation in anti-foreigner attacks across parts of South Africa. The violence has already forced about 1,000 Ghanaians to return home, with another 900 set to be en route to their home country. The situation turned deadly on June 13, 2026, when a Ghanaian national was killed during a wave of demonstrations by xenophobic groups targeting African migrants in South Africa. And that's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. Thank you for staying with us in Talking Point. Our guest today is NKENG Michael. He's an entrepreneur and former mayor of Muyuka in the southwest region of Cameroon. Thank you for joining us today. First question to you. Your take on the long wait for a new government in Cameroon after the October 12, 2025 presidential election that has now created the enabling environment for what is now being qualified as an attempted coup d'etat. What do you think about all these?
Yeah, Mr. Babla, I don't think that it creates a conducive atmosphere as far as that period which each Cameroonian has been filled with anxiety to know what is going on in their country. You can remember that the head of state announced the formation of a new government in his New Year's speech, which Cameroonians have been waiting with all attention. But as of today that we are talking, we haven't heard of anything from whatever source. But again, we were reading on social media about an individual who was trying to destabilize the state with the creation or the appointment or the nomination of his own government headed by a certain vice president.
Right, from your perspective, what is the impact of this long period of waiting on the functioning of the governance system?
A type of inconducive atmosphere amongst the citizens of the country. I don't think we all know that nothing is really functioning as it was supposed to be, because each and every one of us, we are just saying what is on the air, what is going on, how do we get to where we are. It seems as if we are at the end of the road. And so the authorities come up with something to bring back the confidence of Cameroonians to believe in their leaders, that will be better. Because silence means nothing is moving. Why should it not be moving? Cameroon is a country with laws, a country with talent, a country with everything you can think of.
It is now being said more and more within the ranks of the ruling party, the CPDM, that the act of going or taking to the presidency or taking fake presidential decrees to the national broadcaster, the CRTV, was an attempt to topple the BR regime. What do you think about that?
Why do we have to go to that extent of frustration such that an individual should come up with what he did? And I just want to believe that he acted alone. But to the best of our knowledge, that should not be the case. So why did he do what he did? He acted with whom? What was the intention? That is what government has to go to the root to understand the mechanism of even thinking to do such a thing. I mean, since the creation of this country, that has never propped up. So what prompted them? to do that. We will know at the end of the investigation, if at all there's one.
Right, you're joining us from the Southwest Regional Capital, Boya, which is part of the two English-speaking regions in a situation of security tensions for close to 10 years now, and about the unstable security situation in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. There is some sort of dead silence of the administration on the issues happening there, though the security situation in the two regions remain quite volatile as we speak now. Killings, kidnapping, violence are still going on. The government seems to have flipped the page of the crisis. What is your reading of the situation?
I think is, as you rightly said, might be the administration gotten to the end of the road as far as the crisis is concerned. However, those incidences you just mentioned, they are very correct. And you know, this side of the Mongo, though small in, though being a minority in the country, they were groomed up in a system where they believe in what they think. And so long as they feel that Cameroon needs to be fully decentralized, they know that they've not gotten to the end of the road. Those incidences are to remind those who are involved, the power that be, that the end of the road has not been turned, that the green light is not yet on for us to see the end of the tunnel. That also reminds them that peace is something which everybody looks for. And so, for anybody to assume that all the lives that have been lost will just dead silence this situation of the Anglophone crisis should be joking. The earlier, again, as I repeat, that all Cameroonians sit on a table and agree in principles on the way forward as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned, as far as the Boko Haram crisis is concerned, that would be better for each and every one of us Cameroonians. So, again, those of us who are in it, those who are right here in the Southwest, we witness those things every day happening. But again, I think the intensity that used to be in the 2021, 2020, from 2017, I think it has greatly reduced. Again, thanks to the power that be, the administration, they have been doing their best with the military. But it's a cancan worm. So long as it is not cured, it will continue to reappear. That's what I can say.
Yesterday was Monday, a day on which pro-independence fighters or secessionists have imposed an Operation Ghost Town, and this is being respected across the two regions, except for some major urban centers where there are activities going on in an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty every Monday. And this is even respected by administrations. Now, has government failed? Is government unable to end this?
Well, I will not throw blame on anybody. It takes a collective effort for us to redress a situation where the Anglophone-speaking regions find themselves. And that collective action should be within the parties involved, government, the stakeholders, as government, the various NGOs, the civil society, and the population. They need that education in order to enable them understand what has been going on through government action. Again, you should not be surprised to hear from the horses that all what was agreed during the grand dialogue has not been achieved. We have not gotten there. Why? Is it that some people are up there holding the rope strong in their favor, or is it that our memories are so short-sighted in such a way that something that took place not up to 10 years ago, we cannot vehemently say we implemented all that was agreed. And so it takes us back again to this idea of we as Cameroonians not trying to sit down and talk. I mean, we might disagree on how we got to where we are, but let us sit down. We look for a way forward. It will not only benefit the two English-speaking region, it will benefit all Cameroonians, because it is unheard of this century today that we are still talking about centralization the way it is practiced here in our country.
NKENG Michael joining us from the Southwest Regional Capital. Boye is the former mayor of Muyuka. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. That's it for today's edition of The News. Thank you for staying with us. God bless Cameroon. God bless Africa. Goodbye.